everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Fore podcast with Don Julio and Teeds. Hope you guys had a good week. Thanks for supporting the brand and, following us on Instagram, Twitter. We're kind of slacking there.
YouTube, Instagram.
Everything, everyone on social media, pretty much. You'll be seeing a little, flotation
Threads
thing.
now.
Thread, yeah, we do have a thread now. We do have a thread, but definitely follow us on Fore Pod if you have not already. Definitely want to check out the Mevo as well. FlightScope, we are ambassadors now with FlightScope, so we got that 15% off discount code for the Mevo and the 10% off for the Mevo Plus. So definitely want to check that out. Julio and I just received ours last week. Julio might have just dropped his right there, but it's actually a lot smaller than I thought, dude. This thing is freaking tiny.
It is very tiny.
You actually did have it. Okay.
I
didn't know you actually have it.
But I will say, it is insanely accurate. I'm gonna be the first one to say it because I did test it out the other day, or this week on Monday. You do have an app so you can track like what your club head speed is, how far is each club going. But this thing is pretty insanely spot on compared to like Foresight, like when you go to a golf mart or when you go to Club Champion, or if you take lessons at Golf Tech, like it is pretty spot on. The only thing that I'm not a massive fan of is that if you want the most accurate readings, you have to put like the little
gray silver dots on it, and obviously
silver dots on it.
You can't do that if you're at a range and just put a silver dot on every single ball. Yeah. So I could definitely see that being a downside. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
That's like the only thing. But I mean, even if you don't put it on, it still captures pretty accurately. Like
for the weekend warrior, it seems like it's just perfect. If it's someone that you're like, like a Bryson DeChambeau or someone who needs exact data. Yeah. I mean, but it's only $500 too, compared to the other ones that are like 5,000 that some of the tour players are literally bringing up to the range. So I mean, for $500, I mean, like plus 15% off discount. I mean, why not, dude?
It's an absolute steal. I mean, it was really, really helpful to kind of see like, where I was striking my wedges, kind of what my I guess like what my strike point was, or my contact
smash factor or whatever.
Smash factor was, yes. Yeah. My smash factor was, but I was pretty impressed with like the driver numbers. I was like, I mean, I've been hitting the ball good, but I didn't think I was hitting it that good. So I was like,
I mean, dude,
it's a real confidence booster.
Next week, I'm going to try it out. I'm going to make a little video and everything like that, and I really cannot wait to try it. Got around it today, but we'll talk about that later. But just getting everything started and jumping on into it, literally in about like an hour and a half, the Open starts, because it starts in the UK, and it's at Royal Liverpool. And, the defending champ is Cam Smith. Rory is the runner-up. He just won the Scottish Open, or Scottish. I think it was Scottish Open was the name. I know it was Scottish something, which was crazy. Did you watch any of that tournament by any chance?
I didn't watch a lot of it, I'll be honest. I was kind of more stuck on the ACC, watching Steph just absolutely annihilate the competition there. Just looked cool.
No one stood a chance, man. He just that hole-in-one. He just amazing swing, obviously an extremely gifted athlete. And that's one thing that you see with gifted athletes, in my opinion, is they can play multiple sports. You see Travis Kelce, Patrick. I think Travis Kelce drained like a 60-foot putt or something.
Yeah, he also had like the longest drive of like 370 something yards on that long par 5. That's like
and then
with trees.
Did you see the freaking like boats that were just camped right off the shore on like the par 3?
That's normal, bro. Like that's Tahoe. That's Edgewood for you. Like
right.
That resort is incredible. I mean, I have yet to play the course, but it is an immaculate track. I mean, there's some really, really good golf up there.
I'm sure.
Edgewood is probably one of the more higher priced ones. I think it's like $400 to play.
Okay.
But there's some really, really, really great courses up there. You have like, I think it's Coyote of the Moon. I can't think of the other ones, but there's some really good tracks up there.
Well, I think that like if you're not into golf and you're not a big golfer, the tournaments to go to, if you get an opportunity, the top 3, in my opinion, maybe not top 3 anymore, but number 1 would probably be Waste Management Open. Number 2 would probably be this Tahoe one because again, I think it really was just an amateur one, right? There weren't
Hmm.
many pros. It was pretty much just like celebrities.
Yeah,
Um, and then I don't know if they're still doing the pro am at Pebble Beach, but obviously that's a fun one as well because you get to see celebrities from outside of golf that are playing.
yeah.
So I definitely think that that would be awesome. I know one of my coworkers, she always tells me, "Hey, you got tickets to that? My mom gets tickets every year. Let me know if you want to go." And every year I keep forgetting that it keeps coming up, and it just sneaks on through, and I'm like, "Oh wait, it's this week. Crap." I know you're a little bit closer to me than I am from
It
there.
would be. I will say it will be kind of tough. Like you would really need to plan this in advance, and the only thing is because you don't want to be taking Carter to those hotels there. Like
That
I
crazy.
mean, it's not that they're crazy. It's just the amount of smoke that you have to walk through. I just don't think that you would want to put Carter
Yeah.
to get
Right.
through
Right.
the casino or even just walking into the lobby.
Oh, right. It's
Like,
it's it's Nevada. That's
yeah.
right.
Well, it's right on
Oh.
state line. It's right on state line, so
Yeah,
you're
so you could be
still
left or like
technically,
California
yeah.
or yeah, other side Nevada,
You're
but
right inside of South Lake Tahoe, but I mean, you would want to get like an Airbnb for it, like
yeah,
hands down, and you
for
want to get
sure.
it. You want to get it early so you're not paying the crazy high prices of what it is when the tournament's actually there.
Of course, of
Um,
course.
because Isis and I have been talking about, yeah, we should totally go to Tahoe, and she's like, yeah, we go stay at the Hard Rock, and I'm like, you're fucking nuts. No way am I going to take Adelina through that. She's going to have the black lung by the time we leave.
Smoking 6 packs a day, man. Can you
Literally,
imagine that on baby lungs?
dude.
But anyway, back to the Scottish Open really quick. Like I saw Rory won. I watched Robert McIntyre actually had a really good round, and I'm not. I know he's from the UK, but I'm not sure if he's from Scotland or if he's from like England.
All
Little
right.
lefty, and he had an eagle to wrap up. And I think Rory had to like birdie the last 2 holes in order to win by 1 stroke.
Yep.
And obviously, this is what the like vintage Rory, you going into a major, looking good, feeling good. Like so, in the field that he played in was very, very crowded with studs, with like top professionals that were preparing the week before for the Open. That's literally going to take place in a few hours. By the time this drops, it'll be either the beginning or end of round one, and I think it's kind of cool, but I also feel bad for everyone in the Barbasol Championship in Kentucky this week with a purse of or a winning payout bonus of like 360K or 600K or whatever, with no one. It's great for people who aren't going to compete in the Open, to win some cash, take it away from the big names. But I think it's a pretty cool idea to get everyone there because again, they are preparing for the similar weather, similar grass, similar wind, and lies and stuff like that. And it's kind of cool for also the fans in the UK that are able to get back-to-back weeks of PGA Tour experience and players and top players, not just people that aren't really going to be playing in the Open. But what are
Well,
your
look,
expectations? Go for it. Go for it.
I was gonna say, look, let's just get into it. Like, who are your top five of who you think is gonna? Who do you think could run away with this? I'll answer
Uh,
it first.
okay, so you
I'm
asked me the
thinking
question, then you answer first. Got it.
that's
Okay,
right because
cool. Yeah.
I'm excited. I mean, you said you want to get this thing done in 45 minutes. Let's get this thing done in
Let's
45
do it.
minutes.
Let's do it.
So I think my top pick obviously is still going to be Brooks. I You can't rule out Brooks. I think Brooks is going to probably do some amazing things. My second is Cam. I think he has a good chance of repeating. My third is Scheffler. My fourth, I'm kind of like I was kind of skeptical about putting it on on my FanDuel and putting money down was Rory, but the one that I feel really excited about is Ricky.
Yeah.
Ricky's playing some damn good golf, and I think the way he's rolling the rock, like the Open has always been who's rolling the putter the best.
Mm.
And when you think about putting together a solid line of players, I always look at those who are rolling it really well. Now Scheffler, he's kind of skeptical,
But he
but
can get hot. But he can get hot definitely with
he
that
can get
putter.
hot. The guy
Mm.
that I would put up there that isn't in my list is Schauffele.
Yeah. Xander. Yeah.
Xander's been playing some great golf too, and he
Yeah.
rolls the rock great.
Okay.
But
Okay.
that's my five.
Okay. Um. So I'm gonna try and not pick everyone that you picked. I'll definitely take Rory, though I feel like he's really good at doing this. You know, he gets everyone's hopes up. He gets a lot. I don't know if he like if he sets this up on purpose, where he's having great rounds and then he like takes the under, like everyone betting for Rory, he bets against Rory, like it makes money off of that on like the major tournaments because the amount of fans that actually bet for him when he gets hot, and then he just like lays an egg. But I mean, he is looking good, so I mean, I don't mind the guy. I mean, I'll pull for him. I definitely like Rory. Let's go with Brooks, of course. Brooks in any major. I don't think he's won an Open, so that would be interesting. I don't know how well he does in the win, but we'll see. My dark horse, my two dark horses are Colin Morikawa, and that's
Mm,
because he's already won an Open
I
in
just
the
hate that
UK.
guy.
He's from the Bay Area. He went to Cal. I mean, he's used to the
He's a
cooler
dick.
weather. I haven't checked the weather. Okay, all right. We know how Julio feels. Um, but you know, Colin, just because he has experience winning the Open at a young age, he's used to the cooler weather. Um, I would say also I'm always pulling for this guy, Tommy Fleetwood. I really want him to win one. He's had so many runner-ups in like the US Open, the Open, so many runner-ups, and I don't think he's ever won a PGA tournament either. So like I'm pulling for the guy. And then probably finishing up a rounding because I'd be Colin, Tommy, Rory, Brooks. I would not mind Cam Smith pulling it off. I would love to. Of course, I'll go for Pete for Live all day, and I would love to see Cam Smith do a pour beer into a shoe, and then pour the shoe into the jug, and then down the freaking beer out of the jug, kind of like he did last year, except without the shoe. But you know the Australian little twist on it. But I mean, regardless, it's going to be weird. Any tournament of the Open, like I said, it's literally gonna be starting. I was looking at tea times last night for whatever reason. I thought it
Yeah,
started this morning for whatever reason, and
yeah.
my son woke up like at 5:30, and I just could not go back to sleep, and he ended up falling back asleep. But at that point, I was pretty much up, so I was like, "Oh, it's okay. You know, the Open's on. Cool. I'll just get on my phone." And I'm like,
Yeah,
"Why are they interviewing? Why are they
yeah,
talking? Where's the golf?" And then I'm like, "Oh my gosh, today's Wednesday. You got to be kidding me! It's tomorrow. Well, technically tonight. So those are
yeah.
my five. We shall see."
The Pete or the Golf Channel was talking a lot about uh Matt Fitzpatrick potentially pulling out. He might be a good contender.
Yeah,
They
he's
were
from
they
there. He's
were
from out there.
yeah, they were also saying Jason Day could be a good pullout.
Yeah.
Um and then some people were also talking about that they think that this could be Spieth's tournament to kind of get back in the winner circle. And I don't know. Like if I were to make a list of underdogs,
Mm-hmm.
Tommy Fleetwood's at the top. Um, I I do strongly feel that Adam Scott could potentially upset a lot of people. Um,
I
as
mean,
crazy,
think about like what if you were given 10 names, you were just given, hey, you will win $1 million if you pick the winner out of 10 names. There is like a 20% chance that you still, maybe 10% chance that you would still guess one of them correctly
yeah.
because of how many people could actually win. It's just
Mhm.
who is on that week, who has, they don't even have to be on right now. That's the crazy thing. They could be such an
Well,
underdog, like they're just like, you know what? They just flip the switch and boom, you
it's
know?
like I said. I mean, one, obviously, people with distance are going to have the most advantage at this course because
Oh yeah, balls will roll
I
for
mean,
days.
exactly. You're taking driver out of their hands, which means that they're going to be playing a 2 iron, a 3 wood, which will roll forever.
Mm-hmm.
And the majority of the guys who do hit the ball long have pretty decent hands. Like, and one in particular is, is Brooks Koepka. But a guy who is sneaky long, especially on a course like this, actually, I could think of two guys who would be sneaky long, who would be significant underdogs, which would be Adam Scott, Phil Mickelson. Like,
Mm.
those are two dudes that are pretty sneaky long. I mean, even at sea level, they rip the cover off the ball. They still get it out there 320, 340 sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Especially Phil now. Like I think Phil's just absolutely annihilating the ball. He has been for the last couple of years.
I mean, with
But
the calves
he's
like that, I mean, like, of course,
the
right? You know,
calves. I mean, the pills he was taking to lose all the weight. Now he's aerodynamic, and
you do not want to get in front of Phil. He will just.
no. But
But
I
yeah,
mean,
no, I agree.
I'm just saying, like, this is. I mean, the Open is such an awesome tournament because it literally is anybody's tournament. Like, to have 10 and potentially win $1 million, like, you still go to bed cringing because you just never know. It really comes
Mm-hmm.
down to who who's rolling the rock the best, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um yeah, like
I mean,
you know
I mean, there's also no other course on the PGA Tour that
is that
is
difficult.
similar to playing in the UK, right?
Yeah,
Like there's no course, there's no wind, there's not all of the factors that you get. So it's such a isolated major every single year. Even if people like Tommy Fleetwood or whatever, unless you're playing on like the European tour every week, like there is not a good. So that's another thing. You can have a European tour player have a good week because they've been playing in those similar situations week in week out
yeah,
compared to someone. Of course, the best of the best will obviously what do they call it? Uh like they'll figure it out basically, like they figure it out quicker than others. But that's something else. Like the Masters, every year it's played at the same location. They just changed up a few holes, so that's a little different. But for the most part, that's the only major that's played at the same location. US Open, it's played in the United States. There you might get some humidity, you might get some dry, you might get some cold, but I mean, like, it's nothing like the UK where it's constantly going to be windy. It's constantly going to be links golf, pretty much. I don't think there's really any other style courses there besides links, at least that are on the open circuit.
yeah,
Um, and you have the PGA Championship that's also in the United States. So there's no other major like it, and there's no real way to prepare for it unless you play like at the Scottish Open the week before, or you're on the European Tour or the DP World Tour or whatever. So it'll be really interesting to see. I always like to see the underdogs come out. Like I feel like every year there's always like one dude that's like a shot of the lead or a leader after round one, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, is it his year?" And then like the second or third round, he just flops out. But it's cool to have like those stories for a night. Those thoughts
yeah,
going on in the mind.
yeah, man. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Like, I think you hit it on the nail there.
Hmm.
um so just I know you had some big news that you want to share with everybody today, about your round that you played. Did you play a Dragonfly?
Yes, I did, and get this. So last night I had a dream that I had. So for the first time ever, like the last time I played an early morning round besides Monterey, like in the Central Valley, was I think with you, and that was like at 10:15 or whatever, like 4 years ago or 3 years ago
Yeah.
now, like at Riverside, and I played at 9:18. That was my tee time, and it was the earliest that I played. And so, like, I had a dream last night that I woke up. I For whatever reason I got to my tee time like an hour late, and I'm on the way to the course. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm just not used to having a tee time early. Like, oh no problem, just come on out when you get on out there. And it was like kind of like one of those like you're in your classroom and you forget you're the only one who didn't know you were taking a test and you didn't prepare for it kind of a thing. And yeah, dude, I shot for the first time a one under, or I shot under par for the first time, which is insane for me. And I'll be posting the video by Friday at 10 is the goal. It should be up on Friday by 10. I'll be posting highlights up until it, leading up into it as well. But dude, first hole, birdie. Second hole, bogey. Third hole, bogey. Fourth hole, birdie, birdie, birdie. Almost had a hole in one, and I had three straight birdies. At one point, I had almost a hole in one, uh, and I had four birdies on the front nine. I think the last hole was the only hole that I got a par. It was four birdies, four bogeys, and a par to stay even. And I had some really cool putts. I had one lip out, which was dirty, a bad lip out. But I had some really, really good putts. I probably made close to like 70, 80 feet worth of putts today. Like
There you go.
it was insane. And I think
So
the
let me
only
ask you.
thing that I yeah,
Let me
go for
ask
it.
you. So when you started getting to like the end of your round, were you like, "Oh my god, like I'm like I'm one under. Like don't blow this, don't blow this."
Not really, honestly. So also this was the first round and the first opportunity that I had to swing with these new Jumbo Max grips, right?
Oh yeah, that's
The
right. I forgot.
first the
Yeah.
first time that I played with them, I didn't have a range session or anything.
What do they
So
look like?
I don't have one on me, but dude, they're basically like a baseball bat connected to a golf club. Like they are thick. And so, dude, it's crazy. I literally the first time I was swinging the club. So what I was doing today, which you'll see in the video, is I'm literally just shortening my swing. Where I'll take my swing, but I'll just cut off my swing. My main goal was to make contact, just to make contact, because in the last few rounds that I've had, every time I just try to have a full swing, I chunk it and I f it up all the time. So the main goal was, hey, just make contact, cut off your swing, and that's it. Dude, I was getting more flight on the ball. I was getting backspin on my 9-iron, backspin on my pitching wedge. I never get before. It usually like checks up a few feet, nothing crazy, but like it was insane. That's one reason why I'm excited with the Mevo to try that out to see what my distances are, because of what I've been doing. And I gained so much confidence with my irons that I was not worried. Like the last 3 or 4 rounds that I've had a Dragonfly, I've probably shot like a 7 or 8 over on the par threes, maybe an 8 or a 9 over, something terrible. And I think today I went one under, one over, even. I think it went even on the par threes today. And every shot in, dude, I just felt so comfortable. I just had no issues. I was not worried. The only mistake that I made was the 17th hole, par five. I had 230 in, ball above my feet. I said, screw it. I'm going for the green, 230 yards, going with my 3-iron utility. I'm going to try to go for it. I've played well so far. Um, and I went for it. I pulled the crap out of it. Um, but I was able to have a decent look in, but I bogeyed the par 17 after I got in the fairway and I was pretty bummed about that. But then I birdied the 18th, and so it was very boring on the scorecard in the back nine, but the front nine was really entertaining. Like birdie, 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 bogey, birdie, bogey, birdie. It was just like crazy. So it was a good time. The thing that let me down the most today, honestly, was my driver, and it wasn't even that bad. So the more I get used to these irons and the grips, and my wrists don't feel bad either, which is amazing. So I'm
So
like, let's go,
36
man.
is 36 is in play then potentially for when we meet in Monterey.
Anything's possible with the Super Jumbo Max grips.
Yeah, for sure. So it's so funny
Oh
that you're
man.
mentioning grips. So I recently just changed my grips the Grip Master to the Grip Master TGM grips. They literally feel like it reminds me of like a baseball bat. Like I have a pine tar on it. They're so tacky. It's crazy. Like it's
Do
like
you
the
like
sweat.
that? Do you like that?
This is the so normally I always play like a Z cord grip, right? Um,
Okay.
they feel great, but they wear, as you sweat on them, as you wear them more and more. But these ones are awesome. Like if I wipe it down with like my wet towel, they get stickier.
Hmm.
It's really good. But ever since I got them, I've been striking the ball so well. I mean, they're great.
Can't beat
I
that.
absolutely, yeah, I absolutely love them. And then I went to the claw grip on my putter, and dude, my speed is impeccable. Like I'm rolling the putt so good.
I mean, that's huge, man. Another thing that I'll mention is like I was trying out a new driver swing, and I think I talked about it last week. I was working with like when you found it. I mean, I posted on TikTok where it's like when you're just messing around and you just feel it. And
Mhm.
today Dude, my drives were like off, on, off, on. There was no consistency, and I noticed in the video that like I was overdoing what I was trying to do compared
Yeah.
to the first time that I did it and I had a recording of it. I felt like I was doing something different, but you watch the video and it looks like I did the exact same thing. And so obviously, and also one other thing, my driver and my 3 wood still had regular grips on it. I didn't change
Mm,
those ones because I'm like, hey, I'm not going to be hitting the ground. So why change those up for right now since I've been hitting them the best? But now it's back to my driver and 3 wood that I need to work on. So I might just get those things regripped and go from there. But dude, I finished around like 3.5 hours too. There's no one on the course. I didn't have to worry about anyone in front or behind me. It was amazing. I also had a microphone. So on the video, I'll do some live that you'll hear me. I literally talked out everything. I talked out every single shot. So you're able to hear what I'm saying. And then some of them, just for whatever reason, it didn't pick up, whether it was not charged or whatever. I'm still learning on the go, but it was a fun round all around. And dude, I feel like golf, no matter how well you play, you could shoot a 59 and still be upset about some things that you left on the table, right? Like, is that not golf? Like, I shot
oh,
a one under and I'm like, dude, if I would have made this putt, but then I made this crazy putt that kind of, kind of like in baseball, like the bloopers kind of even out with the line drives, where it's like
yep.
you have a bloop single and you have a line drive out, like they kind of even themselves out eventually. But there's always, it's in golf, it's like, man, I did so well, but like if I would have done this and this, I would have been in the 60s. Oh man, if I would have done this and this, like I would have been here. And it's like, no matter what you do, there's always some shot or a couple shots that you're just like, man, like, has anyone honestly had the perfect round in golf? No, because you're always going to be frustrated with yourself, whether you par every single hole, hit every single green in regulation. You're mad you didn't make a birdie, right? Like it's just that's golf for you, right?
Do you ever realize how it's like those that speak of like the perfect round are those who witness it, right? Where everything looks like it's flowing, but when you're playing in a game that requires so much feel, like you're it never feels right. You know what I mean? Like it never feels like, oh,
Oh yeah, yeah,
I could
right.
have done better there.
Like seriously, like if you were to talk to like Dustin Johnson or Scotty Scheffler a few years ago when they shot like 59s and 60s, I think TBC Boston, they were like they shot great rounds, and I think Dustin Johnson at the time shot like 8 under on the front nine, but just like slowed up on the back nine, but like with pars, but not like anything insane like he did on the front. And like you said, like it kind of reminds me of, at least for me, one of the best outings that I ever had in college baseball. 8 shutout innings versus University of Delaware, and I felt like I was throwing the ball 82 miles an hour, and I had nothing in the tank. And then they hit a ball on the outfield against me. I didn't have anything
Yeah.
special that day, but they just, whatever it was working. And it was like, dude, if I was just like, when you're feeling hot and you're feeling good, like it just wasn't like that. And like you said, you could probably talk to Justin Johnson, and he was probably like, yeah, I left a lot out there on the back nine, but everyone's watching it like, wow, we're witnessing history. This is amazing. Well, he's just like, man, I just can't get I just can't feel my wedges. Like I usually feel those. There's always something
Yeah.
that just is going to bug you. And that's just, I feel like, human nature. There's always something, especially with golf. It's so freaking hard. So many
Oh,
things
for
you can
sure.
mess up on.
Well, it's so much things you can mess up on, but it's golf is a lot like baseball where it's all timing. It's a waltz, right? Like you have to be in rhythm with everything, and if you're not, it can go south real quick. But speaking
Yeah.
of like speaking of like best outings, I think I had I had two that just stick out. So when I was at Santa Clara, we were playing against St. Mary's, and I had um I had a or no, not at St. Mary's. We were playing San Mateo, um, and I had like I think seven shutout innings where no one had even touched the base. And it wasn't until this kid named Edgar Gutierrez came up to me and was just like, dude, Ponch, you're like perfect. You're doing so good. And like literally we had this guy on our team named Brett Swagger was his name. Coolest name ever. And
Yeah.
literally he like walks up to him and fucking grabs his mouth and was like, shut the fuck up. Like, what? I was like, okay. So I kept going, but it was
Dude.
it was like it was such an awesome feel. And then there was another one where I was playing in the summer league with LeBron's for the Fresno Cardinals,
Hmm.
and we were playing against this team over in I want to say it was Stockton, but I felt like absolute crap because one, we all got there late, and we all stayed up late, and we were drinking, we were, just having fun,
Hmm.
enjoying our summer, doing what we do. and all of a sudden, like, our coach was like, "Hey, Ponce, you got to start today." And I was like, "What?" Like, okay.
Are you sure?
And yeah, I'm like, "Are
Sure
you
about
sure?" Like,
that?
all right. And literally, like, I felt like I had nothing in the tank, and I had I had eight and a half perfect innings, and then finally this one ball just gets right through the four hole, like just squeaks through, and I was like, son of a bitch. But
Dude.
I remember that game specifically because Bronze made this amazing play. It was like a hard, so it was kind of like Wrigley in right field, where there's just this hard wall with ivy on it. Bronze legitimately, like, jump man in the air, goes into the ivy, pulls, like, catches the ball. Like, it was just such a bang play. It was just boom, he catches the ball, spins off the wall, and then he comes over to me and goes, "Fuck, Julio." He's like, "I didn't have to want to work that hard." I was
Of
just like,
course he did.
I
Of
was
course
like,
he did.
"Sorry, man." I was like, "That was a hell of a catch, though." He goes, "God," he's like, "and I scraped my arm." I was like, "All
Yes,
right." But
dude.
yeah.
Speaking of that, like, dude, my first outing that I had in CAA, Colonial Athletic Association, against George Mason, dude. I was, I probably felt the best that I ever felt in my D1 history. No, probably second best. Five shutout inning or five no hit innings to start my career, like in the CAA, our conference. And I like my 3-2 changeup, boom, done. Like, I was just, any pitch you wanted, let me know. I was probably throwing like 93. I was like, for me, that was, I was chucking. And we ended up losing 3-1. I come into the sixth. We get top of the sixth inning. They get out of a bases loaded no out jam, and then I give up one little hit, two little things, and then we end up like losing. And it's just like, that's the way it goes. Like, you could feel on, but like in golf, if you can have your driver, you can have your wedge, you could have your iron hot, but if your putter is cold, like, you could just, that could just kill you.
It's a long
Like,
day.
yeah, it's such a grind. It is such a grind. And I was thinking about that today. Like, my round of how well I played, which is a personal best by 4 shots. And looking at the videos and all the footage, I'm like, ooh, I forgot about that one. That one hurt. Like, oh man, like, I chipped this. Like, again, I had no experience with the super max grip, the jumbo max grips on like wedges or anything like that, and it was all new. But like, I definitely left so many things out there with how good I played, and I don't know if that's gonna bring me back. Obviously, I just enjoy playing golf regardless, but like, that's the kind of thing that sometimes brings people back to be like, can I eclipse that? Right? Can I do better? And we shall see. We shall see. I mean,
I,
72.
I I saw this video that I think is it. It really puts it in. It really puts it into perspective as a golfer. Like, for people who go out and are like thinking, "I'm going to go low today." You put this unnecessary pressure on yourself to, like, put more pressure on a game that already is so hard, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And this guy then says, like, in my collegiate years, the best rounds I ever had were the ones that I just didn't give a shit about. Like, I just showed up. Like, I just was there. I didn't spend much time on the range. It was
Mm-hmm.
just feel. Like, I was like, all
Yeah.
right, well, I'm gonna try something that I never really tried. He goes, he literally said, he's like, I remember on the first hole, I hit a crappy drive. I'm just off the fairway in the rough. I have to kind of bend it around a tree limb, and he's like, I got a 58 in hand. He's like, you don't hit a 58 from like 60 yards, with spin. And he's like, I just didn't care. He's like, I did. He goes, I pulled off the best shot, hits the ridge, comes down. It's like right on the hole. He's like, I almost made it. So I started with a birdie. And he's like breaking down his round. He's like, this whole time, he's like, my mind, I'm just going through the motions, literally. And he's like, and I
Mm-hmm.
end up having the best round of my collegiate career. ever. And I'm like,
Mhm.
that's dope. Like that's super sick.
Mhm. Well, I mean, I
You know?
agree. I agree. I feel like that does happen a lot sometimes too, when especially if like you don't do well on a first hole or second hole, and you kind
Yeah.
of just have like that F it mentality. Like, why not, right? Like the Bert Kreischer thing, where he's like, I always go for the green. I always do. Like, what's the point of not going for the green? Like, I play golf to have those crazy shots, to have those things that won't normally happen. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not good enough to do anything else. So when I go for it on a par four and I reach and I drain it for eagle, I'm fist pumping. Like, you'll see in my video, like I'm going crazy. Like, you'll see that like I was definitely in it. And every shot, like especially the putts, where like when I made them, I had like this crazy right to left breaker, man, where my back was almost facing the camera, and it sunk in after it was probably like 15 or 16 feet for par. And I think my audio was on that one, but you can just hear me, just like you could see my emotions, like every putt that I made that was like a par save on the back nine. I was like, let's go, like, come on, let's go. But I
Did you
just
play
had
with anybody?
no, there was no one out there, dude. It was literally just me.
That's
Um,
so awesome.
I mean, it was nice, and also the fact that I also got it on camera. It wasn't something that like there were so many times I'm like, oh come on, pull the ball back and record it again. But I'm like, nah, dude. Like I'm playing the best round of my life. I want to see what my best round is going to be. If it's going to be the best round, it's got to be the best round legit. It's not going to be like, oh, just do 3 takes on this like 4 foot putt that I know I can make, but like I'm just not making it. You know what I mean? And we're going to get the
That's so
one that
dope.
it shows that I made it. But like it was the amount of confidence that I gained from the Jumbo Max grips, from iron shots that I have not even practiced, was insane. And I didn't have any pain in my wrist, so I wasn't worried about that at all. So we'll see tomorrow how I feel with my wrist. But as of right now, dude, I feel freaking amazing. I don't have any
That's
pain, and it was it was a great day, and I am looking forward to at Tees break. Can Tees break 80? He's gonna have to change to can Tees break 75. Like I don't know. Like I don't
all
know.
right,
Like
buddy. All right,
pump
pump
the
the
brakes.
brakes.
I know golf is a very like I was literally saying that. What happened? I was like, golf is a very like, what do you call it, sport where it's like you think you're good, and then it's like, oh well, you think
It's
so,
a
huh?
very humbling sport.
Very humbling. That's it. That's the one where like
It
I,
is a
I was
very
thinking that I'm
humbling
like, you know
sport.
what? Like I'm one under coming up to 17 and 18. Par fives that I've done very well in the past. I'm like, dude, I have an opportunity here. Bogey. I might get a birdie, but I was like, dude, come on. Like, come on, man. Like I've had some crazy shots, and I mean, I'm having a great time putting this thing together just to watch it. I can't wait to actually watch it and watch shot by shot. There were a couple, I think it was 17th, like I mentioned, that like I wasn't able to record for whatever reason. It didn't pick up. On hole 6, my drive, I had it on time lapse for whatever reason. Like,
Oh
you gotta be
no.
kidding. I had to like slow it down like to 10% just so you can see it. You're not gonna get a shot tracer on there, but like you're gonna see like that's my shot. Like there it was. And another one I'm gonna have to literally say like, well, I ended up chipping it over the green, and then I putted it, and then I three putted for bogey. No one's gonna make that up. If anything, it's like, oh, I ended up making a par, or I birdied it off the green. Like, um, but those are the only shots that the only ones that I didn't get, and man, it was a great day. And again, there was no one in front of me or behind me either that made me feel like I had to hurry up. If anything, it was at the last hole where I saw like a few people, and I'm like, okay, take your time. Let's just do your thing. And uh, oh, man, I just want to go back
That
out tomorrow.
I mean that's literally how like today, I went out and played just because I mean, I wanted to get some new footage. And I started on the back nine. There was nobody there until I get to like the 11th hole, and I'm like, hey guys, you're a five some, can I play through? And just a single. And the best part was, is like, it was like these kids who were just starting to play, and like this guy who's like a regular at the club, and I'm playing from the tips. And
Mhm.
so this one kid, he actually hit a really, really good drive. I mean, from the whites. And then all of a sudden, I hit mine, and he's like, I hear him. He like looks over at his buddy. He goes, "Dude, he literally just flew your ball like 100 yards." he's like, do you realize, like, did you see where that thing landed? And then, and then I'm like driving by, I'm like, thanks, fellas. And he's like, dude, great swing. And I was like, yeah.
You too, son. You too.
Yeah, it was great. But
Uh,
all right, man. Well, I'm happy you had a hell of a round. I'm excited to see it. I'm actually putting together my front nine, because I ran out of time today, so I wasn't able to get the full 18. But I've played 17 holes, and I'm sorry, I played 16. No, yeah, I played 17 holes, and I was 2 under. So, um, in the day before on Monday, I shot 69, and I told Teeds, and he was like,
nice.
"Yeah, right, yeah, right." He's like, "I gotta see it on video." I'm like, "God." It was the one day that I just didn't take my camera, and I really didn't even think about it because I was just like so into my round. It was fun, so I was like, "Damn, would have been cool." Because I made some putts. I made an eagle for one that was just like 40 feet off the right side, double breaker. I just hit it and I literally started to walk it. And my buddy was like, "You're a fucking piece of shit." I just was like, "Hey," I was like, "That was a $40 walk in." It
Oh
was great.
man. Oh, that is awesome. But yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, we wrap it up here and enjoy the Open this weekend,
Yep.
everybody. And like always, stay fly and go low.
All right, everybody, have a good one.